Like, okay, we hired somebody at one point from VaynerMedia to do one of the brand breakdowns or whatever, and they couldn't even figure it out. Ever wonder what's going on at our lead generation company, X27? Well, today's the day for you because I have Jacob, who's our head of sales. He is now running ops for the company, and he's a YouTuber himself, and he makes YouTube videos kind of like ours. And he's on the channel to talk first about X27, about what's working, what's not working, but then we start talking about life. He talks about me. He kind of interviews me at one point. It's a very good video. Stick around, because here we go. This video is brought to you by Cold Email University, the easiest way to learn cold email and start booking massive deals for your agency or software. Before we jump into it, make sure you subscribe down below. It really helps, and smash that like button. If you haven't already, just go ahead and go down there and just tap that like button. Just go ahead and tap that like button and ring the subscriber notification bell too. All right, let's do it. So Jacob is our top sales guy. Now he's moved more into operations on the X27 side of things, our lead gen agency.
We're gonna go back to sales
before he goes back to sales and destroys it with X27. So I wanted to talk about what's going on in X27. I wanted to talk about our client successes. I wanted to talk about some of our failures. I want to learn more about you as well. Talk about your YouTube. Just a ton of stuff I want to talk about today.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it, man. This is kind of a dream come true. I'm putting you on a pedestal here for a minute, then I'll stop. But guys, I've been following Alex online for a few years, probably. I dropped out of college following his advice. Not to drop out of college, but the cold email stuff helped me drop out. So it's cool to be here and to talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. And Jacob, if you guys don't know, has his own YouTube channel where he does a bunch of videos that actually remind me of what we used to do and probably should still be doing, which is just sales-focused, like value-added content.
Yeah. No, a lot of it's similar, like cold email teardowns, similar stuff that you used to post. Mm-hmm. It seems like you've kind of gone more towards like crazy money and just more like high-level business and sort of mindset videos now, as opposed to like in the trenches sales, which is cool. I mean, it's the kind of evolution of the channel.
It's the evolution of the channel, but it's also a very specific strategy. So when I was talking to Michael, was our we developed a course with this dude, Michael Young, like 3 years ago. And Michael is I think he's got 2 Comma Club. He's like responsible for all these different courses in the past. And he gave me this amazing piece of advice, which was, if you give away all of the free value on YouTube, nobody will buy the course, ever. Nobody will buy a single course that you sell. But if you teach high-level concepts, more people find it more valuable and more people will buy the course. So that's why we started talking more about high-level concepts, stuff like that. I still do free tutorials and stuff sometimes, but he even said, like, if you say the name of the tool you use. So for instance, like, okay, if I said like, you go to Upwork to hire people versus inside the course Email 10K, we show you exactly where to go to hire people. Which one of those do you think performs better?
Fair enough. I've heard people say like, give away your best, most valuable stuff for free though, to get people to come in, because if they find value in what you're offering for free, like, oh, I have to get into the course. But I can also see what you mean around kind of people want the surprise. Like even Robert talked about it. Like clients will ask to see something before they sign up, but they got to pay first to kind of get access to that. It builds the hype.
For everyone that doesn't know, what is X27 and what do you do for X27? And what does X27 do?
Sure. So X27, our whole entire mission is to connect our clients with their ideal clients in a self-sustaining manner. Specifically agencies has been our bread and butter, because a lot of agency owners, a lot of them are artistic, you know, they like to draw, like to design. They start a project out of passion. They have no idea how to sell or how to get customers. So they rely on referrals for growth. It's super inconsistent, it's unpredictable. And I hear them talking about luck as a way to describe their revenue, which is like, no, you don't ever want to be there. You want to be able to say, I'm going to send I have a whiteboard right there with my revenue projections and how many cold emails I need to send to make that happen. So that's what we do for them. We help them have predictable revenue, help them grow consistently so they can achieve their goals. And what I was responsible for initially was new business. So I came on as a sales rep. I was doing what we do. I was reaching out to people, getting on the calls. Everything that Alex talks about on the channel, I was just doing to generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in contracts, almost $1 million for X27 in the last, in about 6 months. I've recently shifted over a bit more towards operations, because what we're going to discuss in this video a bit further is just some clients get great results and other clients don't get such great results. And we have examples of both. And so we're trying to kind of figure out how to narrow down our focus on the clients that will get great results.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about, actually, as much as you want to talk about it in this video, because I saw a video that Jacob posted, maybe we'll link to it down below, that was talking about our operational issues and how he needed to get back in operations. And I think this is a very common thing with lead generation companies and marketing companies, which is the consistency of results. Because let's say we could generate millions of dollars for every single client that paid us $4,000 a month. We would be $1 trillion company. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how do we get there? No, for real. You could say like that's impossible. But one reason why I love that you're doing ops and that you care about this is how do we actually get there? What's wrong right now, and what's kind of the path forward? Because I think a lot of people that run agencies are going to see a lot of similarities with what we're dealing with right now.
There's so many factors, it's hard to pinpoint one thing, which is why I need to take some time to delve into it. So maybe I'll just brush the surface of a few things. One thing that I learned is huge with agencies, and this is really, I guess this isn't even really ops related, it's just everything. This is like dating, this is business, this is friendship, this is everything. It's expectation setting. If you set the wrong expectation for a client before they join, the only thing that's going to make them upset is a gap between expectations and reality. In fact, at one point I was frustrated, and Robert, the co-founder, Robert's the champ. He's awesome. It's like, Jacob, I can't do his accent, but he said, Jacob, you're only frustrated right now because you had a certain expectation and the reality is not meeting that. So what's going on? So I think when one problem that agencies have, is marketing agencies, is trying to promise the moon to their clients and them not getting that, or even actually not promising the moon, but clients expecting that from the beginning. We were talking about referrals earlier. Cold outreach and a referral are like totally different ballgames. I mean, a referral is like, you could just suck at sales tremendously and close referrals. Cold outreach is a different ballgame. So I think one way we need to improve, or one way that marketing agencies can improve, is expectation setting the right expectations. And even then, clients probably still will get upset because you're never going to have fully happy clients. But one is definitely how to set the right expectations. And the way that you do that is by understanding your product very well and understanding the service and what's realistic and what's.
So what's the expectation? I know what we're promising, which is, which is what happens for about 50 to 70, 80% of our clients. Who knows what the actual number is? But I see this case study. Maybe we'll throw it up on this video so you can see it. But this guy paid us for 1 month, made $100,000. Tom from Dom and Tom paid us for 3 months, made $1 million. Like, that's what brings people in. And I think what we need to do is somehow get people to see Tom's video and then not think they're going to make $1 million, because it doesn't happen. No, because it doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah. Well, that's the tricky thing. So Angel, great guy. He runs a software development company, kind of like Dom and Tom. I mean, it's really custom software. And he was the third client that I ever closed. He did a 1 month trial, and we guaranteed him like 10 leads. And so our definition of a lead is someone in your target market, like company size, industry, title, department, etc., location, that has expressed some form of interest in what you do. I've got much better explain it to clients, because some people consider a lead as like ready to buy. In this case, cold email, it's not the case, but 10 leads per month. He got like 40 or something in the first month, and he booked himself so many meetings, and he was like head down, responding to the leads, booking the calls, following up, taking the calls. A few weeks later, I'm like, how's it going? He's like, I made like 50 grand. I was like, holy crap. But other clients don't have that kind of work ethic. So
interesting.
I think a big thing was Angel's. I think it was the client. Well, we got great results. We got a lot of leads, which is one thing. And I can maybe explain why I think he actually got those results in a second. But another part of it was just his ability to have his head down and actually do the work and not complain and not.
We run into this in the Email 10K community as well. People will come in and they'll pitch a big brand that they do web development, iOS development, and they'll just list out their services. Or I was just looking at one where someone was actually using Westром's case studies. And what does that mean? Like there's just basic stuff like that. Like when I ask the person who's sending that case study, what is cloud infrastructure and how can that actually benefit the person that you're talking to? They don't know the answer.
They don't know. Yeah, that's a big
issue.
Issue.
Even if that email booked 1,000 meetings, you're not going to close any of them because you don't understand what you're selling.
Yeah, and that's actually, I think, an area where another one of our clients is not doing well. Mm-hmm. That I actually had a call with them. They are very nice though. Like they're like maybe we're not giving you enough information. We can pivot, we can tweak. They're not complaining. It's been 4 months and we're trying, but they haven't gotten that great result. But they're great clients, which is what those kinds of clients motivate you to catch up even more. But their issue initially when I started with them, I was asking them for case studies and I was asking them for examples of their past work. And they gave me some projects. They work with some brands like American Airlines and Match.com, but they're not really able to articulate the value of what they did. Like they can talk about the product and the client wanted this, so they built them this app, but it doesn't go further than that. And the problem with using just at that level is you're taking orders at that point, but you're not thinking about the real value. When you're going and doing outbound, you're catching people most of the time before they have the contract in their lap. They have a problem or they're interested in some sort of benefit, but they don't actually know exactly what it is yet. So if you reach out to somebody and say, hey, I do mobile app development, do you want it? They're going to be like, no, probably not. But if you say, hey, this mobile app for your competitor just increased their brand loyalty by 30%, are you interested? They're going to be like, yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah, at least with
but it's a
topic
different position.
Yeah, and I think it's
Yeah,
also,
exactly.
so it's pitching a specific project. It's taking it 99% of the way for the actual.
Well, solving a specific problem.
Solving a specific problem.
Yeah.
Ideally with one of their competitors, we'll get you the call. And then it's
Yeah.
also understanding the value completely, exactly like what you said. I think it's an engineer mindset thing.
When we started, so I remember on your YouTube channel, you've talked about it. If you guys go back a few years, you'll see him talking about like the marketing deep dives you guys used to do. And when I first came on as a new salesman, I was asking Robert about it, and he said, just sell the leads. It's way easier just to sell. It's much easier to sell 10 leads than it is to sell like a concept. I actually have Solo Marketing Review. I don't know if you know that, but a guy found me on LinkedIn. I connected with him. Didn't pitch him though, but my landing page was set up properly. He reached out to me because I described this problem well, I guess. And he told me that he wanted to grow and he wanted to, he didn't really know what to do though, because he was in that situation where he had only referrals, So I sold him the marketing deep dive. It's going well so far from what I understand. I think that could be a great foundation to then move forward from there, because maybe it gives us a buffer to kind of figure out if we really want to take on this client or not.
The problem that we found with marketing deep dives was it was a delivery problem, meaning if my brain's not attached, if your brain's not attached, the level of person that we need needs to be so high quality. And it's still like, okay, we hired somebody at one point from VaynerMedia to do one of the brand breakdowns or whatever, and they couldn't even figure it out. So let's say you have someone, like everyone has specific strengths. So let's say you have someone like Robert who's amazing at closing deals, right? Every second he's not on a call closing deals is a waste of his time. Him sourcing leads is a waste of his time when somebody in another country can source leads for 25 cents a lead and is amazing at it. Him writing first lines is a waste of it, or $1 a lead or $2, whatever it is, change the price. Or someone writing first lines, if they're great at first lines, get them doing first lines. The reason why is specialization is the key to actually scaling this type of business.
It's like McDonald's.
It's like McDonald's, yeah.
It's like, yeah. We've done this in the past though, and like with the now we have a mix of in-house and outsourced. In the past, X27 was run very much the way that it was, or it's described in Email 10K. When I joined, I didn't realize that we had made a shift, and I was kind of caught by surprise. And I'm still kind of figuring out how that is going to look in the future. But I understand that the reason that we made that shift was because at a certain point, the system would break. Like after 20 clients or something like that, even that system.
The reason why you have to make a shift, the system breaks down of cold email, personalized. It also breaks down if you have two specific lead criteria. So what we found, and when we're doing the personal first lines and all this stuff, it works so well. What we found is customers would want something like, the CTO of Fortune 500 companies. That's 500 people. Right. We could reach out to 500 people in a week with personalized first lines, book them 10 meetings. Then what are we going to do the next week? Not even the next month. What are we going to do the next week? That's what we ran into. So then we tried to expand the criteria. And I also think touching more people tends to work. So we used to have 2 salespeople running X27 like 4 or 5 years ago, like when we first started scaling the sales team.
It was Austin, right?
No, even before Austin. So it was a team, 2 of them. Austin was great too. It was a team of 2 people. And what they started doing, so I originally pitched them on the custom first lines and everything to sell X27. And what they found was instead of doing that, if they just sent to every agency, we would book a lot more meetings. And we actually did. We ended up meeting with almost every qualified agency in the entire country. So slowly but surely, I do not know if personalized first lines are actually necessary. Here's a question for you, the audience. What do you want to know about X27? Let me know in the comments down below. The reason why I made Robert the CEO was because I didn't want to deal with client emails. I was in Paris. I wanted to travel around. I was in Paris and it was 2:00 in the morning because it's Paris time, you know, and I had to deal with all these calls. And so I was like, Robert, you should be the CEO. Then I moved to LA to be a stand-up comedian with my little brother. And we were just doing stand-up comedy and consulting on the side. And I was consulting, basically trading my time for money, not giving Robert any piece of this, consulting on the side. I was doing animation business outside of, you know, the team. And then I spent a bunch of money on like making a movie, and I've been dealing with short films. And I went on a road trip with a girl. It cost like $18,000 for this 3-month road trip. And no, and what
Girls are expensive.
I know. I'm not dating anyone right this second for a reason. But what I learned, what I learned this year really is what I was doing back then was very selfish, and that's why everything failed. That's why the movie never took off. That's why the scripts were always trash. That's why the art's never too good. It's because I wasn't doing it for the family. So what I figured out was I got to do stuff that everyone is aligned with. So instead of writing a fiction book, now I'm writing a nonfiction cold email book, and the content's fire. Dude, the writer I'm writing it with said this is the best. He's written 30 books. He said this is the best book, and he's the most excited about this book than he's ever been in his life. Robert loves the idea of the book. Div loves the idea of the book. Okay, so that's just the book. Lead Shark. Robert wants to escape the agency. He sees it exactly the same as you. So Robert's dream, escape the agency. We build a $7 million software company, you know, to fulfill Robert's dream, which is my dream because I like building shit too, right? So it's more like finding, even the new show, Every Burger in Vegas, is 41 episodes we're filming in 4 days. Div really loves food shows. I love food shows. We're doing a food show. Robert loves selling sponsorships, and he just wishes that we had more views on the channel. What is better than, 1,000 views per video is infinity views per video because the channel's not launched yet. It's the perfect product for him. So basically what I'm saying is, what shifted for me was trying to figure out how to do what I want to do while also making everyone else extremely happy and fulfilled with what they want to do. That was the big shift. So now every project I try to do is tied to everyone else. It's the same with the courses. So Email 10K, I thought was competing with Daniel with Cold Email Wizard. Then I talked to him, and it turns out he does a great cold email course, doesn't have a lot of the stuff in our course, but our course, Email 10K, is actually an agency course. So now we're rebranding it as an agency course. And now he's promoting it to his audience. And now he's working with us in other ways that I can't talk about without him getting mad. But it's that. It's like, we don't have to compete with anyone. We don't have to do anything on our own. This whole family, this whole group of people want to help each other. And it's like, how do I've been trying to pick projects that give me everything I want. I get to be a food celebrity now, but also give everyone else what they want to.
So it sounds like for you, you've shifted from like a more of a selfish perspective on things to being more of a team player and just doing things that the team wants, but that will also help you achieve your goals. It's kind of a subtle shift, but it's like everyone working together as opposed to what's in it for me.
And it still seems selfish too, because I get to do what I want. Like last year, when I was still in this selfish phase, I was writing a bunch of short films. I was really into horror movies. And I wrote a short film last year that involved the Alex Berman YouTube character as one of the characters. You don't think we're going to be able to make that film in November? You don't think we're going to be able to make that at some point? Like there's all sorts of stuff that I was already doing, but I was so blinded by doing it alone that I didn't even think to bring in our team. And it's saving me a lot of money because instead of spending 20 grand on indie films, now Robert's spending 20 grand on my indie films.
What do you think made you that way in the beginning?
I think it's the way I'm naturally wired. I don't know. I had 5 brothers. And so I think we're all very much like whenever Preston would get a friend, he'd be like, it's my friend. And then if I tried to hang out with Preston's friend, he'd have, like I think we all kind of do that. And then my little brother's like really into fairness. Like he's got his own YouTube channel. And then when I have like 500 subs on Crazy Money, he's like, oh, what do I only have 400? Like he's sad. What he doesn't realize is if he was just like, if he treated it a little different, maybe we'd do a collab on our channel and like promote the shit out of him, which you guys sub to inexperienced developer on YouTube, by the way. We're so much wronger than we think. When we think we have any enemies in this world, when we think anyone is against us, we're in the wrong. Will from Uplead.
That's totally true, man.
Will from Uplead, who's the CEO over there. All I started doing was talking about how great it was that he loved X27 and he sponsored our videos. And now he's doing testimonials and he's recommending his clients by Email 10K. Like, it's insane what you can get if you just like, how do I help Will do what he wants to do? Yeah. How do I help Cold Email Wizard do what he wants to do?
But there's always a part of you, and I'm starting to learn about this now. I think the biggest thing that I need to work on is learning how to be calm under pressure and not let actually not to push down negative emotions, but to bring them out. Let your negative emotions come in, be okay with them, and let it go. But there's always a part of you that's telling you like you're gonna fail, you suck, you're not gonna do it. But I don't know why that is, but I think something you said maybe reminded me of that. I'm not sure what I'm talking about now, but either way, as far as like helping everyone do what they want to do goes, I mentioned to you over Slack, I had this epiphany when I was coming back from Miami that I want to start a nonprofit or something that helps people like that, because I ultimately like I was crying when I was thinking about how much I could do to help people, and that is what I feel like I should be doing if it's going to make me that fulfilled and happy.
And how long were you thinking about that nonprofit before you told me about it?
Not that long.
Not that long.
Not that long. But but the thing is, the longer I think about it, the more and more it's sitting in my head. The longer the more likely it is to be true, or the more likely it is to be correct.
Let's talk about Cold Email University. If you want the easiest way to learn cold email, I've talked about this a million times. Cold email is a skill that will change your life for the better. Imagine being able to contact anyone. If you want to sell a $10,000 deal, you can with cold email. If you want to get your dream job, you can with cold email. If you want to sell your software, you can do it with cold email, and Cold Email University is the course for you. It's all of our insights from hundreds of students and millions of dollars generated via cold email. Our 7-figure agency is built on cold email, and most of what we do is built on this skill. The course will show you how to write your perfect cold email, how to take your current case studies and make them amazing, and how to improve your campaigns so that you can start booking massive deals right now, today. If that sounds interesting to you, go on over to coldemailuniversity.com and check out that course right now. coldemailuniversity.com. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to smash that like button to encourage this type of content on YouTube. Subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. I'm Alex Berman.